Rabbi Dr. Solomon Schonfeld of London concerning some of his activities during the Holocaust period.
Hope to save lives. You could do that before the war. Well, we did that. I mean, we got 3,000, 4,000 souls to England, to Britain.
Under what, in what form did you care? Were they?
Well, the rabbis and the teachers and the children, the yeshiva bocharim and the school children and ordinary children from homes, children of teachers, children of rabbis.
In other words, they did not fall under the normal category which was not permitted to come in. Was that it?
No, I did everything always on our own. I established offices and we did what we could. Then you knew what was coming of it. Otherwise it was nothing else but a lot of hot air.
No, what I meant is you tried to get individuals that did not fit the category of those not permitted to come in, right? A restriction.
No, there was no such things as categories. Everybody could have come in. They didn't want to let everybody in, obviously, so therefore you had to have a certain amount of pull.
All right,
know-how and pull, which I had at the time, and I used it to the best of my ability.
With whom, may I ask, with whom? Well,
Home Office was very, very good terms with me, the Home Office particularly.
Any individuals that were helpful?
Tutor Eid was the most helpful man, and he's in the foreign department, now let me see, visa department, Mr. E.N. Cooper, well-known man, well-known, Ayed Yisrael, good man.
Well, the first one you say Eid, how do you spell the first one?
Tutor Eid.
E-A-D?
Chuter. He was the Home Secretary at one time, E-D-E, Tutor Eid. He was the Home Secretary at one time, and throughout the war, I think he was the second in command in the Home Office, not the Home Office, but in the Home Ministry. I mean, he was the second minister, I think, parliamentary secretary or under-secretary. No, he wasn't the under-secretary. Parliamentary secretary, something like that. You know, there's a Home Secretary. Right. He was Home Secretary at one time, and at another time he was Parliamentary Secretary. That's the second in command.
Mm-hmm. And
he did anything I needed. I mean, I was friendly with his chief, who was the Home Secretary. I think it was R.A. Butler, wasn't he, the Home Secretary during...
I have to check that. I'm not certain. I'd have to check it.
I think R.A. Butler was Home Secretary, although he may have been... I knew him, of course, as Minister of Education. But he was Home Secretary at the time, was it Kingsley Wood? Or... Anyway, Tutor Eid was my minister friend.
And
Government Minister for Home Affairs.
And on what basis did you try to select the
always as Chief Rabbi's representative? I got visas for anybody I could name and address for.
How did you get those?
Well, that's they gave them. I had lots of friends on the continent, and I spent some of my student years on the continent, some of them, and I got to know many people. Many people knew me. And they'd write to me and ask for help. They knew me. They just write Rabbi Dr. Schonfeld, London, and it would reach me.
And you would act upon that. Now, you mentioned that rabbis and rabbis' children and so on. Was there a group of, you said a group of Orthodox children?
I didn't establish groups.
Oh, you took
I brought 5 groups from Vienna, 5 groups from Poland. I organized those groups, put them together, and brought them here as groups and housed them, looked after them until they were placed in private homes.
Is this before or after the war?
It is both before and
after the war.
After the war, both before and after. During the war, I only dealt with families, individual families, who could get to England via Spain. I even got people, or tried to, I didn't succeed very much getting people into Turkey on the way to what was then Palestine.
Uh-huh.
But into England I got groups before the war, families during the war, and groups after the war.
Did you find any opposition on part of Jewish groups here to your...
Yes, anything that wasn't going to Palestine then was opposed.
Because it
Because it could make a
interfered...
great popularity for any movement that wasn't Zionism. That's all. You could make any popularity for anything that wasn't Zionism, they hated you. They were decried as being an enemy of Israel.
Did they actually try to prevent carrying out of any of your plans?
Sure, everything they did, everything under the sun. You can imagine.
Would you care to name any organizations or individuals that were involved in the debate on that?
Jewish Agency.
The Jewish Agency itself?
Sure. Any man working for the Jewish Agency would oppose my rescue efforts, any rescue efforts that were not based on Palestine in those days.
In other words, even bringing them to Britain?
Even bringing them to Britain, where they might ultimately land in Palestine, Israel, they would oppose it.
Children, rescuing children?
Everything.
Everything.
Everything. That's why, I'm disgusted. So I go and negotiate with the same murderers. What for? I know their type.
Did you get any help from our Jewish organizations?
Very little.
Was Agudas Yisrael of any value help at all?
Well, it tried to. Harry Goodman tried to. But they were not practically active in practice. They were not active in practice. They were not a Vada Tzora. Vada Tzora this was at the end of the war.
Right.
Vada Tzora in America tried a little bit, gave a little bit of help. Well, they worked for the Shanghai group, didn't they?
Yes, Rabbi Kalmanovitz particularly.
Yeah.
He put his efforts...
I went to a Vada Tzora dinner to make money for the Vada Tzora in New York. It must have been a year or two after the war, 1940-something. I attended their dinner. I've still got a picture of somewhere of the dinner, which I addressed.
Did you have any contact with Mike Tress at all?
Oh, yes, Michael Tress, I knew.
Was he...
He was an good leader, wasn't he?
Yes. At that time it was Tirei.
Huh?
At that time it was called Tirei.
Called?
Tirei Agudas Yisrael.
Tirei Agudas Yisrael.
Right. Did you have...
I didn't really... feel that they had very much in the way of practical organizing ability.
Uh-huh. How about your organization was the Chief Rabbi's
Religious Emergency Council.
Was the Chief Rabbi himself actively
well, it was me, largely.
Uh-huh. You're the one that did the work behind the scenes.
No, I did it in front of the scenes. Every letter to the Home Secretary bore my signature. Every letter that came from the Home Secretary came to my office.
I see.
Addressed to me.
Uh-huh.
Only I had his Chief Rabbi's blessing and had the permission to use his name.
Uh-huh, I see. Are those papers from the Emergency Committee, are they in here? Is this
in here, all in here. They're visited. Well, no, I put some of them in my old attic in Lordship Road in the Vigda School, number 63 Lordship Road in the attic. About 3 rooms full of files from the Chief Rabbi's Religious Emergency Council. Got some inside.
If I go there Sunday, I'm going to Lordship to I have an appointment with Morley Grunfeld. After I see him, could I get to that attic?
Well, Sunday's a difficult day because, this Sunday particularly, because the caretaker's out of town.
Oh, I see.
I don't know how you could get to that attic. The caretaker is on holiday, you see. Otherwise I'd give him a ring.
How about over here? Is this, can I get it, come here Sunday?
You could come here Sunday.
Will anyone be here during the early and late afternoon?
Early afternoon?
Let's say after 12, from 12 on.
Ward. Sunday. No, Sunday I'm going out of town.
All right. How about...
Sunday I'm going out.
When is a good day next...
Wait a minute. Sunday I'm going out.
When is a good day next week, Mr. Hashem?
Monday at 12 I'll be here.
All right. Can I come... okay, Monday at 12.
From 12 onwards, yes.
Very good. So maybe I'll be able to look at some of your...
You can spend a few hours here. Spend the whole day.
Any event, any particular incident that stands out in your mind as one of the most satisfying in terms of result, in terms of nachas that you derive from accomplishing a particular mission. Can you think of any one thing?
Was when the groups of children came from Vienna in 1939, and I got the visas without passports. They invented passports for me, for my council.
Who was that, your friend?
Office, yes. Invented, they didn't require passports. Visas were stamped on my cards, and photographs were affixed to my cards. And they recognized, they let people land on those. I've got samples left somewhere or other.
I would very much like to...
I'm sure you would. It'll take a year to find them.
Oh, okay.
Sure you would. Take a year to find them. They're here. They're all here. I've had them in my hands over and over again, but I'm terribly, terribly busy with the present and the future.
I understand that.
I can't turn aside from my present work in order to...
Okay, I think you've given me enough of your time at the moment.